Hello all. I got one of my favorite styles here. Low alcohol, Brett Saison, sometimes called a Brett Grisette. This just says stainless aged farmhouse ale. Production time 6 months, so they let this Saison get a little bit funky with Brettanomyces. Don't tell you much, just Maine grown hops. Barley and oats, maybe gonna give us a little bit extra body. Where did my bottle opener go? There we go. Only 3.5% alcohol. And I did have this beer once when it was a bit younger. I think this came out like 6 months ago. And I had it maybe 3 months ago, and it was very, very good. I was happy to grab another bottle. And Oxbow has been doing these green bottles, which it's fun, attractive. Just make sure you don't expose it to too much light, or else it will get substantially skunky. A little bit of light struck character is something a lot of brewers like, but the green bottle looks fun in the light. But what's funny is a lot of the European brewers are not using green bottles anymore, like Saison DuPont doesn't and Pilsner Urquell doesn't, because those beers over their long journey to get to America often get some light exposure and turn skunky. We'll see if this one's turned skunky. I don't know, a fancy Saison, usually you put in a stemmed glass, but this is low alcohol. I think they actually call it a table beer on the side here. Yeah, farmhouse table beer. So it's a humble beer that you can just throw in a glass like this. It's about the strength of your average British bitter pale ale. And that is extremely pale. A little bit of dirtiness on my glass. There's like an etching on the bottom of this glass that causes some of that crazy carbonation. But the etching is hard to keep clean. But oh yeah, there we go. We're getting that fun, big, crazy, jiggly Brettanomyces head right there. Love that. You can see the crazy carbonation in part because of these etchings that are agitating the carbonation. But I'm smelling some definite funk already, but I'm wondering if this is going to be super thinned out. Whew. Yeah, this is one of the funkier Oxbow beers I feel like I've had. I just got bottles of their spontaneously fermented beer, so maybe that one will take the cake. A really cool head, super foamy here with a thick, creamy volcano top. But that is like almost cheesy, aged cheesiness with a hint of acidity. I know this won't be super sour. There's no barrel aging and lactic acid in there. Cheese, hay, grass, with lots of bright lemony qualities. Peachy. That's why I love Brettanomyces so much. At least done really well. It gives you deep, complex, fermented aged flavors, but then also a lot of fresh, bright, fruity flavors at the same time. This smells delicious. Still a little bit of sweetness left, which is nice because sometimes these Brett beers can get really bone dry, especially if this was brewed like 12 months ago and it's only 3.5%. All those sugars can be eaten by the Brett and they'll just be super dry and phenolic and like eating a bitter aspirin pill. This has a touch of that chalky aspirin, but it's not overtaking. It's still got lots of fruitiness, Smarties, fruity sort of thing. Yeah, more like chalky Smarties rather than bitter chewing on a pill sort of thing. And the head is having a good time. Yeah, even though it's a little bit sweet, extremely light bodied of course, and all that carbonation is making it near airy. It's still prickly though. Yeah, it does float on the tongue, but I can't say there is not a carbonic bite a little bit, but it helps to make it finish extra dry, and I'm not really noticing any tartness. There's no vinegary quality quite yet, but it lingers with a real grassy, aged, cheesy funk. Maybe not quite blue cheese, but aged goat cheese or something reminiscent. Delicious. Should have bought even more of this. When you really inhale, it's musky, for sure. But the flavor is just so bright and fresh. It's on your tongue when you swallow it, and the aftertaste develops this almost oily, herby, weird Brett funk that can't be recreated by anything else, and that we still have like a dome of head coming up. Fantastic beer. 4.5 at least for this, but I am a sucker for this. This kind of beer is like what I could drink constantly all the time. A desert island type style that every once in a while breweries make this sort of thing I go crazy for. Back in the day, Mystic Field beer, that was their table beer, low alcohol Saison, that was inoculated with Brett. So kind of the same idea as this one. But this one, the Brett is so funky, but it's just not assaulting on the palate. It doesn't give that bitterness and phenolic medicinal character. This is like a 4.75. I love this one. Highly recommend. If any place has this, so you see it, get it.